their veins. Mackie and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Reckless speculation. Reckless speculation.
You want reckless speculation? How about reckless trade speculation?
Happy Reckless Speculation Thursday to all who celebrate. This is Mackie and Judd, daily Minnesota sports, entertainment, therapy, speculation. Our friend Darren Doogie Wolfson is here from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department, the Scoop podcast. Inside information about your favorite Minnesota sports teams. And Doogie, after last night, a game in which the Grizzlies built a 55-point lead over the Warriors at one point, the Grizzlies are now 20-5 with Tyus Jones as the starting point guard this year. Of those 20 wins, 9 are by a margin of 20 points or more per 36 minutes. Tyus Jones averaging 15 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 45% from the field, 40% from 3. And he's been worth 5 win shares for Memphis, which would be third on the Timberwolves. Cat averaged 10. I don't know, man. It's probably too easy to say, well, just replace D'Lo with Tyus. I don't know that that's the solution, but he's a better player than he was a couple years ago. Absolutely. And my radar would be up if I was the Timberwolves this offseason.
Happy Reckless Speculation Thursday.
You want reckless
Phil?
speculation?
Pay that man. He's also an A-plus human being, so after Game 3 here, it was relatively late, not as late as after Game 4, that late Saturday game, but after Game 3, my colleague, Joe Schmidt, is doing a 10 o'clock live shot. Tyus walks over with his young child, introduces his young child to Joe. Like, that's just the sort of human being Tyus is. Here would be the hope if, like, playing this thing through. Like, I can't see Tyus going to New York, right, with the Gerson Rosas influence, with the Tibbs influence. Now, money ultimately will talk loudest. Like, this is the chance. Now, Tyus has already made a bunch of money, but this is the opportunity for him to really cash out. Like, set himself up, his family up for the rest of their lives. Maybe they're already in that spot, but, like, he can really hit the jackpot. Jalen Brunson is going to get paid. Now, does Dallas find a way to keep him? Is that possibly Indiana, the Rick Carlisle connection? Is that Detroit? Detroit has seemingly been interested in Brunson for a really long time. Or does Tyus maybe end up in Detroit? I guess what I'm getting at here is, like, I'm not sleeping on the possibility of the Wolves somehow finding a way to ship D'Angelo Russell to New York with Rosas there. Like, that's just something, put it this way, it's maybe like on the back of my radar, but it's on my radar. Like, that's something I'll be keeping an eye on here for a while, regardless of who the final decision maker is here. Like, that's a scenario that I could see playing out. So then the Wolves would create, you know, maybe it's a 3-team deal. Maybe there's a way for them to create some cap space, some flexibility. As of now, they have the mid-level exception. I think Tyus might be worth more than that, but would Tyus come home for the full mid-level exception? Like, if you move D'Lo, would you be willing to make a move like that? Point is, Phil, Tyus Jones is ready to be a starter. Now, I get it. There are questions. There are people wondering if he's in the perfect spot. Memphis should re-sign him. He'll still play heavy minutes in Memphis, but doesn't need to be a starter. That him taking that leap to playing 35 minutes a night, like, does the production go down? But regardless, he's put himself in a position to hit the jackpot. And if I were the Wolves, I would have a ton of interest in bringing him home.
And Dukes, I was told the difference is that at some point in time in the last year or so, he has a new shooting coach because his shot now is actually really good. And it's also, if you watch the trajectory of his shot now, it's definitely changed. And so I think that's where the step was taken, that he probably found the right person to work with him consistently, because that is the one place where, and there's no question against the Wolves he did this, he is now knocking down shots that I think when he was with the Wolves, he probably couldn't consistently knock down.
Yeah, he is a much better shooter. Judd, if we had done even a 30-second pre-show meeting, I could have sent a text, I could have given you a name on said shooting coach. I can tell you, he still works a lot with his older brother, JD. But I'm sure, right? Like, the shot is so much better, significantly better, that, yeah, I presume you're right that he found the right shooting coach. In fact, as soon as I'm done answering or pontificating right now your inquiry, I will send a text message. Maybe by the time we are wrapping up, I will give you a name. But yes, I presume he has to have had worked with somebody new, right? Last summer, tweaked that shot because the shot looks significantly different, and he's improved it, and that's a big reason why he is going to get paid. Whether it's in Memphis or somewhere else, he is going to hit the jackpot this summer.
You know, one thing, and this is a valid question, because Jordan McLaughlin has given the Timberwolves some really good minutes in the second half of the season. He was obviously on the court.
Power back by noon. All right. That's the scoop of all scoops. I don't care about anything else today. We will get power back at our residence at noon.
Speculation.
Breaking news here on Mackey and Judd. Golden Valley Power is coming back.
There's a
I
certain
thought it was
older
just
gentleman
Jack
in
for
Golden
Jordan
Valley
McLaughlin. I was like, yeah, all right.
will be
dude.
very happy.
Panicked
Yes,
Royce
there's a
at
neighbor
1 o'clock in the morning.
of mine, yes, that absolutely needs his power back.
The septic water? What is this? What is
Katie,
happening?
where's the
right now?
flashlight?
So a lot of people are, and this is, I think, a valid question to flesh out the answer to, that Jordan McLaughlin, is he sort of what, if you gave him more minutes, do you already have a duplicate version of a Tyus Jones? And my answer to that would be, I don't know that we've seen enough of McLaughlin to say, all right, dude, we're going to trust you for 30 minutes a night in more of a starter role if D'Lo departs. Number two, I think Tyus Jones is a considerably better shooter. I know McLaughlin had a hot shooting streak at the end of the season, but give me the 4 extra years of experience, give me the better shooting with Tyus Jones. I also wonder, what Doogie, you brought it up earlier, it's one thing to go from, hey, I'm a change of pace, sort of spot starting point guard that, you know, is going to once in a while play 25, 30 minutes, to being the guy who's paid more money and to have that responsibility in your lap. And the only way to test that out is to actually put Tyus in that spot. So I'm super curious. The other thing I love about Tyus compared to D'Lo is self-awareness. The fact that D'Lo doesn't know sometimes when to not shoot. D'Lo doesn't know sometimes when it's his turn to set up opponents. And Tyus Jones goes onto the court, I think almost with like I don't know what the word is, but like he has spent so many years in the NBA clawing his way to play meaningful minutes, and he understands it's not about him when he's out there. He understands it is his job to facilitate the offense, and then sometimes he understands it's his job to spark the offense and score points through that avenue too. So the self-awareness and the fact that you could just spend your time setting up Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards is all very, very appealing to me, Doogie.
Very appealing. Like, I've had people on Twitter wonder with me if the Wolves will go after Zach LaVine, free agent, Chicago Bulls. Mm-hmm. I love Zach.
Me too.
I can tell you, Zach still has fans here. Do you really want Zach plus Ant together? Like, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. By the way, Zach is now with Rich Paul Clutch Sports. Rich Paul also has Anthony Edwards. I'm not quite sure Rich would want Zach LaVine with Anthony Edwards. But Tyus Jones, the way he plays, like, that to me is ideal for Wolves' offensive success 22-23 season.
Yeah. Hey, real quick here, we got some breaking NBA executive news. The voting results are in for 2021-22 NBA Executive of the Year.
How many votes for Rosas?
0. But one first-place vote for Sachin Gupta.
Hey-o.
That's right.
You know what?
Gupta received a first-place vote, one of 8 executives that received, or 9 executives that received at least one first-place vote.
A vote for
Former
Gupta is a
ESPN
vote
colleague?
for Rosas.
Somebody in town?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, of course it's a vote for Rosas.
That's a vote for Rosas. Rosas
I mean,
should've
I
got
like
more
the
votes.
Bev extension, bringing in Greg Monroe, helped them win that Boston game early in the season. But, yeah, it's not like Sachin did a whole lot. He navigated a tough situation here, but I'm not quite sure that's worthy of a first-place vote.
Probably not.
But, like, look at the Memphis executive. So the Memphis executive wins.
He won it, 16 first-place votes.
What exactly did he do? Like the Steve Adams trade? Now, Zaire Williams is going to be good. That was a good draft pick. if you look at how he has assembled that roster going back multiple years, he deserves all sorts of kudos. But for just this season, like, am I forgetting some moves? Like, Williams was a really good draft pick. He made the Adams trade, but it's not like you get a bunch of love for that.
Yeah.
Am I forgetting anything?
It's a roster. It's a credit for his ability to build a roster, correct?
Well,
So
of
it's not
course,
just
right?
based
Yeah.
on- but I mean, it's not just based on
It's
a
signing
year.
Tyus a couple years ago. It's
a
drafting
body of
Brandon
work
Clark.
award.
Sure. Yeah. It's
Which
body
why
of
Gerson
work going
should've
back
won it.
multiple years.
Great job, Gerson.
I mean, it is. It's a vote for Gerson, right?
Right? I
It's
mean,
either
is
a
there
vote
any
for
other way to look
Gerson-
at it?
It's either a vote for Gerson or it's somebody that didn't know the dynamics of the Timberwolves front office that led to the construction of the roster that overachieved by 12 wins, according to the Vegas.
Well, I sure
owners,
hope
right?
not. That would be unfortunate, right? If a voter did not have that knowledge.
Look
I
at
do
the
wonder,
look at
maybe
the
it's
baseball writers.
Is it a former ESPN colleague? Remember, Sachin worked at ESPN. Was it a friend of his
Trade machine
doing
guy.
him a favor to get his name out there on that ballot today? The results are out there
would
all
never
over
happen.
social media, on this platform, other platforms. We now can say Sachin Gupta got a first place vote.
Interesting. Very
It's good for him, right? Whether
was windy,
he ends up staying
Doogie.
here or ends up elsewhere, it's good for him.
It was your guy, Windy, that he's the one who did it. He pulled the trigger.
Well, Windy and Sachin certainly have a good relationship.
All right. Any other Wolves nuggets for?
Well, yeah, they have
for
some
Gerson?
guys coming in tomorrow for a draft workout. I'll get names at some point later today, but be on the lookout for that. So as of now, it's business as usual. Like, Gupta doesn't organize these draft workouts. That's John Luca, typically, assistant general manager. But Sachin is still in charge. Next week is the draft combine in Chicago. So Sachin, the rest of the front office, will go down to Chicago. It's business as usual, right? Until told otherwise, Gupta is the final decision maker. Right now, they will collaborate on the prospects they want to interview in Chicago. Heck, Sachin may not even lead those interviews. When they can interview, it's something like, 7, 8, 9, 10 draft prospects. Maybe it's a little bit more than that. Guys that, presumably they'll target at pick 19, but maybe guys they'll also target in the second round with those 3 picks in the second round. But Gupta's in charge, right? But I mentioned on Tuesday, Phil, you weren't a part of this conversation, but I mentioned with Judd, I was told that the Wolves have reached out to at least one organization seeking permission to interview somebody in that organization's front office for the president of operations job. When I have a specific name, I apologize, Judd. It's been a wild 24-ish hours. Certainly a
Just 'cause
wild
the power's
14
out doesn't
hours.
mean I don't want the name.
My phone went dead. I
It's
didn't have a
still no
phone.
excuse. Get a rotary phone.
Yeah. I should have gone out to the car and just
Dial it up.
Yeah. So I apologize for that. But when I have a specific name, Phil, I've brought up the names Landry, Fields, Elton Brand going back to September. So certainly I'm tracking those 2 names, but I don't have anything official to report right this second. Just that I was told the Wolves have reached out to some organization seeking permission to interview somebody in that organization's front office.
Hey, Doogie, tell Phil, though, what an NBA power broker sent you on a text, because we didn't inform him of this yet. And this is reckless speculation.
I think some listeners.
Zenith.
Is this A-Rod Laurie related?
Yes.
Okay,
It is.
a couple listeners DM'd me that. I love it. It's like this is on the Mackey and Judd show. I'm not part of the second scoop session, and people are informing. Our listeners are the best, man. Informing me.
Oh,
of
they're
what
great.
happened.
Yeah. So this was Tuesday, 11:54 a.m. This is a current president of operations, somebody I've known for a really long time. I text him, "You hearing anything on the president of operations job here with Minnesota? Hope you're well." He texts back, "Someone over Sachin? More curious if A-Rod and Laurie can get the team." So he's a Sachin guy. Feels like Sachin's earned the opportunity, much like me, that you don't need to go through a process. Finch loves him. It's kumbaya. Those two have great synergy. You make Sachin the president of operations. It's very much a no-brainer decision. He's earned this opportunity. What the heck did Elton Brand do in Philly? Or what has Landry Fields done? Or even, Calvin Booth, one of my guys in Denver, and Calvin is fully capable, but why disrupt things, right? It's good times right now. There's been so much drama at Mayo Clinic Square They're drama-free right now. Keep that going. So to me, you elevate Sachin. And this president of operations agrees with that assessment. But he also says, more curious if A-Rod and Laurie can get the team.
So
that
are there
chatter,
questions
Phil,
like
remains out there.
So is it just financial questions? Is it Glenn Taylor cold feet questions?
Well, I think that's some of it too, potentially. But yeah, I think there are some financial questions. Yes.
I feel like Mark Laurie's going to find a way. All right. He has been a deal maker his entire 20 years professionally.
I hear you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for those who are not watching on YouTube, I'm nodding my head. Yeah.
I mean, he got a taste of NBA life as an owner for for a guy that literally knew nothing about basketball 12 months ago and hired Damian Lillard's shooting coach. He's been reading books and watching movies about basketball. He's been sitting courtside. I think he's got the fever. I don't know why. At this point, I don't think anything's going to stop him from cobbling together the necessary funds the next 2 years, but it is Glenn Taylor.
But there is a lot of money to go. There's also a lot of time to go. So it's May 2022. Technically, Laurie, A-Rod aren't supposed to take over as majority owners until December of 2023.
Interesting. Well, the good news for Sachin, Judd, is if the Wolves happen to kick him to the curb, there are some places hiring, and Polka Dot Dairy is one of them. So there's always a fallback option for Wolves executives.
Yes, because you know what? We're talking about still joining a team, and Polka Dot Dairy is looking for drivers. And those opportunities, I'm going to tell you right now, starting salary, $60,000. Nothing to sneeze at, right? 401k match, which is awesome. And the best part, no weekends. And so, a current CDL license is required. Polka Dot Dairy is a Minnesota-based and family-owned company with a great workplace environment. Go to polkadotdairy.com and click on Jobs to Apply. That's polkadotdairy.com and click on Jobs to Apply. So if you don't get that team, if you don't get that POBO job, Polka Dot Dairy is there to help you.
And Declan, speaking of drivers, you going to bust out the big guns at Meadows?
Oh,
you gonna let the big dog bark?
Oh yeah. Oh, show me your clubs. I want to see those clubs at the Meadows at Mystic Lake. And by the way, it's demo days at Mystic Lake this weekend and next weekend. But this Friday, Taylor Made's going to be there. Ping's going to be there. Titleist. Maybe on Saturday, I have my Cobra driver. I love my Cobra. I've been using it for years. But they have now updated clubs. So if you want to get some new clubs, they have fittings at demo days this weekend at the Meadows at Mystic Lake. Visit golfthemeadows.com to learn more. Golfthemeadows.com, an award-winning 18-hole public golf course. Golfthemeadows.com.
Reckless speculation.
I feel left out. Where's my ad read?
You know what?
Just wait.
You might actually have one coming up at some point. Where
good.
Business has been better at Score North than it has in a while, and that's a good thing for all of us. So
thanks to our listeners and viewers.
Dude, best listeners
great.
of all time. Yes.
Seriously.
Doogie, let's transition into, this might have a little bit of a short shelf life just because the schedule comes out tonight, but we want to get your potential schedule steam out onto the record here. In case you're correct, we want people to be able to celebrate it. So what's your Vikings
And if
schedule
I'm wrong,
steam? We'll just
you said this has a very
Yeah.
short shelf life, so it's like it doesn't even exist. I did have somebody, put it this way, the person who tipped me off, and weeks upon weeks ago I said, this is very much reckless speculation, but said, hey, just look out for the possibility of Vikings Saints in London. All right, that individual who tipped me off on that turned out to be accurate. Told me to keep an eye on, you ready for this? Thanksgiving night, U.S. Bank Stadium.
Yes.
Mac Jones, New England Patriots.
Stuffing, baby.
Oh, I
Kirk
love
Cousins, Minnesota Vikings. Now, if it's wrong again,
Let's
it's
go.
like this doesn't exist. This part of the scoop session doesn't exist.
Let's assume it's right.
baby.
Let's assume
Very
it's
much
right.
reckless speculation.
So what you're saying is 4 o'clock on Thanksgiving, I can put down the fork, I can put down the spoon, I can put down the plate, I can tell anyone who's in my house gotta go and go to a
Yep,
football
tell
game.
Nadine, hit the road.
No, she can stay here. Her and Don can drink all the wine they want.
Oh, that's fine. You're hitting the road then.
Me leaving is the key. I love Thanksgiving football.
Put down the
and
fork, pick up the chimes.
turkey and stuffing, mashed potatoes and pumpkin
wanna
pie,
see Judd.
and Mac Jones.
Judd, can we get you to go over the holiday season? Just go to some sort of church or a synagogue. I don't care what the denomination is, and just go behind. You know, they got the chimes usually in the back,
play the chimes.
and just go.
Love it.
All right, you ready for the other one?
Yes,
great.
So
yes.
Judd and I were going back and forth on Tuesday. It's pretty obvious when the Vikings have 9 home games, and we know week 2 is a road game at Philadelphia. We know week 4 is a road game in London. That in all likelihood, they are opening at home, right? Sunday, September 11th is a home game. They're not playing on that opening night Thursday. They're playing on the second Monday, so they're not playing on Monday, September 12th. So they are opening on Sunday, September 11th. And with 9 home games and road games in weeks 2 and 4, pretty logical, right? They are opening at home on September 11th. My guess on Tuesday was the New York Giants. I said, I just don't see them opening up against a division opponent. Don't think it will be an AFC opponent. So that leaves the Cardinals, the Cowboys, the Giants. I said, I don't think it'll be Dallas week 1. So it came down for me, Arizona and the New York Giants. I guessed the New York Giants. Well, it sounds like, and again, if this is wrong, this doesn't exist, right?
No,
Reckless speculation.
I think you're right here. I'm seeing some stuff here. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, well, Packers at Vikings week 1.
Let's get it. Yes.
Not a noon kickoff either. Don't know if it would be 3:25 or Sunday Night Football.
Okay.
But not a noon kickoff. Is some stuff leaking? I haven't been on Twitter for 5 minutes.
So the great news is there's actually breaking schedule release Twitter news here too. So there is a Twitter account called, it's like NFL Schedule Leaks, and they just launched an account a couple weeks ago, and they're just every 2 hours they're just
Verified?
tweeting games. Not verified. It's just, I don't know who this is. But there's another one here. Vikes fan 1930 just sent this to us on Twitter here. It's NFL schedule release, but the handle is nerding on NFL. There's 4,000 followers, and this account is just tweeting out schedule leaks. Packers at Vikings, week 1, 4:25 Eastern. Not Sunday night like previously rumored, but this is a prime Fox afternoon game.
All right. Well, do they have the entire Vikings schedule? Check on Vikings at Bears, week 18. So we know because of Bill Huber in Green Bay, Packers beat guy, Vikings at Packers, New Year's Day, January 1st, 2023. That would be week 17. Do they have Vikings at Bears, week 18?
No, however. Oh, wait, here's another one. Oh, this is great.
Oh, boy.
Oh man. Okay. So many things leaking right now. So I did see a leak that week 18 Packers Lions at Lambeau, which then would mean Vikings Bears wherever.
Well, just based on what we discussed, if it's Vikings Packers week 1, Vikings Packers week 17, we know it's not Vikings Packers week 18.
Yep.
Right.
So it has to be Vikings Bears because you finish with a division game. The question is, would that be at US Bank Stadium or at Soldier?
It's almost
I was told to look out for Vikings at Bears week 18.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so here's another one. So you're right. You're right about that.
So yeah, the Vikings would then finish road game.
We've also seen a leak that the Vikings play at the Bills week 15, and now another leak that the Vikings will play at the Dolphins week 14. So at Dolphins
that doesn't
week
make a lot of
14,
sense
at
then.
Bills week 15.
You're not going road game week 14, road game week 15, okay, home game week 16, but then road game week 17. You're not finishing 4 out of 5 on the road. So I wonder if Vikings Bears week 18 is at US Bank Stadium.
Or is it a gauntlet? A gauntlet of road games against the Buffalo Bills.
Let's say it's true.
Packers.
We know all these road games, so they're going to have a bunch of home games. Because remember, it's 9 home games this year. So if we know week 2 on the road, week 4 on the road, reportedly week 14 on the road, week 15 on the road, week 17 on the road, potentially week 18 on the road.
Oh no, we have another leak. Vikings going back to London week 13. What's happening right now?
The Vikings will be based at Wembley Stadium. That's the new
The Vikings are moving to Europe. What is happening? Oh my God.
Norm Green bought him and just moved him.
I love these. By the way, you could just, this is the best part about Twitter and the worst part. You could just launch an account that says
That's what people
NFL
do.
schedule info 2022, and you could just start tweeting things
That's
out.
what people do. Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Well, I saw a couple days ago somebody speculated the Ravens were playing Thanksgiving night. And now 24-ish hours later, people are saying, no, Baltimore's not playing Thanksgiving night. So you're right. You could throw anything out. That's why I preface everything I laid out in this part of the scoop as very much living up to the theme of today, reckless speculation.
That's fair.
Dukes, what makes sense about that, though, is the Vikings have never played Thanksgiving night. And for a long time, it was threatened that they were going to. So it would make sense to put them against the Patriots, obviously a team of national interest, on Thanksgiving night. That actually does make a lot of sense in the schedule mix.
Well, I'm just telling you, the person who led me on to...
I'm giving you credit.
I don't know. Did anybody have out... Not that I'm taking credit. I don't care. But did anybody have Vikings Saints before I threw it out there on this segment?
I think it's yours.
In London?
No.
Can I take ownership of that? All right.
I think it's yours.
The guy from
I think it's yours.
Times Picayune, right? He came with it right after you did. So clearly there were sources talking about it. But I think you were the first person I saw it from.
Someone just leaked the full Saints schedule.
That's happened.
So full schedules are now leaking out.
Well, I saw a full Dolphins schedule too from a credible source.
Okay. Yeah, this happens.
Have you seen a full USFL schedule for next year yet? Declan and I have just asking for a friend.
I'm just looking for the Birmingham Stallions slate, please.
Oh, hey, we have to real quick. So
you take Birmingham. All I care about is Kyle Sloter. Wherever Kyle Sloter is, that's all I care about.
Thanks, Mr.
Dukes. I need one more bit of insighting from you. So I don't do a ton of reporting. Listen, I fancy myself as a reporter as needed in the Minnesota sports landscape, and I feel
all you do is piss off Byron Buxton's wife.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later in the show too. Add her to the list of player wives that have either blocked or chirped Judd or myself on Twitter.
Mackey.
It's the Samantha Ponder annual chirping of a player wife on the internet. So I'm told by someone who would know that J.C. Tretter, one of the top 3 to 5 centers in the NFL, even with the banged up knees, that he has a very short list of teams he would sign with, and the Vikings are on that short list. It's essentially up to the Vikings if they want to make a viable offer to him. So, listen, the Vikings don't have a center under contract beyond 2022. They just declined the 5th-year option on Garrett Bradbury, so he's a lame duck. I don't know why you wouldn't do this unless there's some medical issue with his knees that you just don't think. And Kwesi would know because Kwesi was in Cleveland last year. But what do you think, Doogie?
Well, okay, so we're sitting here on May 12th. Why haven't the Vikings already made an offer? So what does Kwesi
or any team? Has any team made an offer?
That I don't know, but I feel pretty confident suggesting the Vikings have not made an offer. I can't speak on the Eagles or the Giants or the Dolphins or any other team. Certainly Miami could make some sense for a center. Not quite sure. I just randomly threw out those other teams. But I feel pretty good telling you the Vikings haven't made him an offer as of yet. So I do wonder about the medicals there, specifically the injured knee, or is it both knees? I don't know. I haven't studied Tretter's medical situation too deeply, but that has to be it. Now, his dad is very active on social media, and a couple sleuths reached out to me, said, hey, look at the gentleman's likes, Mr. Tretter's likes. He likes more Vikings-centric, his son signing with the Vikings tweets, than any other team. Certainly in the last few weeks. So J.C. Tretter's dad, I'm about to sound like Chris Thomason. J.C. Tretter's dad is liking all these tweets that are suggesting his son landing here in Minnesota.
Put a cold call into Bill Parcells, too, just to finish off the article.
You guys.
I mean, this would make sense for what we talked about a couple weeks ago, that, I don't understand some of these suggestions out there that Garrett Bradbury has been promised anything. Could he win the job, be the week 1 starting center on September 11th? Absolutely.
Yeah. No,
as we sit here May 12th, he hasn't been promised anything.
Yeah. No, he has been
promised.
And
I had heard that Chris
he's
Reed...
been promised he'll be a free agent after the season. That's what he's been
told.
Yeah.
Chris Reed may get some looks there in camp. I think I've suggested that's been suggested to him. Ed Ingram, no so far, but maybe keep an eye on that. I think he got some snaps at center down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, but at LSU, he was, left guard, right guard. But certainly, minimum Reed, maybe Schlottman as well, the new offensive line coach, has history with Schlottman from their days together in Denver. But I was certainly told, Reed specifically, I'll keep checking on Schlottman. Was told so far no on Ingram, but I'm just wondering if that changes. But, like, somebody's going to come in, or somebody that's already in, like, going to at least compete with Garrett. And if you sign Tretter, I mean, I think that's a no-brainer. That means he's medically cleared. He's your starting center. You're not bringing in Tretter to compete for anything. But, yeah, I think your intel, Phil, like, I don't have any reason to doubt what you just said. Put it that way.
Hey, Dukes, Twins question. What is the timetable before we find out if Paddock is actually going to undergo a second Tommy John surgery?
Well, I think we'll know here. I think he knows. The public, or we reporters, should know here pretty quick. It's a matter of whenever anybody wants to text one of us back, whether that's me, Dan Hayes, somebody else. You know, if Scott Boros wants to reach out to his guy, John Heyman, that's Paddock's agent, but I'm led to believe he's got a pretty good idea. In fact, when I was in the clubhouse on whatever day that was, Tuesday, speaking with him, I mean, he certainly sounded like a guy that is preparing for a second Tommy John. Had it initially in 2016. Certainly sounded like a guy ready for surgery. Then he can be back at some point next year, leading into his free agent year. He even suggested that you want to do that now compared to later, so he's got some ramp up before becoming an unrestricted free agent.
Dude literally had an injection for a partially torn UCL 6 months ago, and the Twins were like, yep, checks out to us. Let's go. Let's do it. All right, guys.
God.
Amazing.
All right, he was throwing, though, in Peoria, right at the Padres spring training facility. They had eyeballs on him. They had the video.
Sounds like a movie. That sounds like a film.
But I understand, Phil, where you're coming from. And that's entirely possible why Preller there decided, okay, yeah, of course I can move Chris Paddock. If I can convince somebody to take him, let's do it. And, Taylor Rogers finally gave up a run the other night, but he's been about the best closer in the National League.
Yeah. All right, Dukes. Good stuff, man. This was a very fulfilling Reckless Speculation Thursday session.
Well, that's good. Couple final notes. David Roddy, Breck High School, Mountain West Player of the Year from Colorado State, had recent draft workouts with the Nuggets and Rockets. If I were him, I would stay in the draft. Not quite sure his draft, stock will be any higher. Not quite sure what he would accomplish going back to college, but he is maintaining his college eligibility. Brad Davison, Maple Grove High School, Wisconsin Badgers, draft workout today with the Atlanta Hawks. Peyton Willis, former Gopher, also in that draft workout today in Atlanta.
Awesome, man. There he is, Darren Doogie Wolfson, inside information about Minnesota sports teams.
Great
Scoop Podcast,
stuff,
5 Eyewitness News. All right.
Thank you, Declan.
You brought it today, Dukes.
I thought it was just sort of okay, but
Sure.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
All right, see you, boys.
That's Doogie. Appreciate him. That Scoop session also presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Federated's been around for over 100 years, helping businesses maximize their potential and their success through risk management tools and resources. You can find out more about how Federated can help your business at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours.
Does Throwing in Peoria not sound like a great independent film?
Or like an indie band of some kind. Yeah, Throwing in
That's
Peoria.
good, but like
Good
I sounded
album.
like a Netflix, like coming to Netflix.
It's a good album.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Is it a mini series? It's like a Netflix,
could
like a
be.
5-part
Tony Creo,
series.
yeah.
It certainly could be, but I heard it and I thought to myself that is an independent type of film. Throwing in Peoria.
Yeah, it's almost like something that they would show for 2 days at the Minnesota Film Festival or whatever at the St. Anthony Main Theater.
Yep.
Where you go in, you get a big tub of popcorn. There's 4 other people, and you just kind of kick your feet up.
Yeah, but it starts to like gain steam.
Yeah, or not,
and then gets an
Right.
a potential Oscar nomination.
or its contract runs out, and another
And
theater
the
picks it up
candidates-
after
and
2
the candidates
years.
are Throwing in Peoria, Chris Paddock.
Amazing. All right, you guys want to venture forward here on Mackie and Judd?
Let's do it.
Okay.